Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to give my little thoughts on David Avanesian. You know, his not just his fight from the weekend, but his career in general. Now, as far as his fight's concerned, I never made a video about the fight before the fight happened, but I was aware of it. There's not much to talk about because it only lasted one round. Now, this weekend, David Avanesyan took on the unknown Osakari Mets, and he did the Osakari Mets what you would expect him to do to a guy like Osakari Mets. He folded him up in one round, stopped him, successfully made the 5th defense of his European title, and you know, he's showing some great consistency, that David Avanesyan. You know, he showed what he was in this fight, who he's always been, a guy that likes to come in that high guard, come forward, use that big, strong frame of his to mow down his opponents, and he got another stoppage victory. So much respect to him. But I wanted to really talk more in this video, not so much about the Osakari Mets fight, because it's a fight that really nobody's gonna remember years from now. They'll just know it as another guy that Avanesyan stopped. What I really wanted to talk about was just like where he's at in his career, because, you know, a couple years ago when the Josh Kelly hype train was at its top form, right? Josh Kelly was a guy that a lot of people hyping up. I was hyping him up even. He was looked at to be a guy that could make some waves in boxing. The hype train was full. I mean, he was getting endorsement deals, he was getting everything, and Avanesyan knocked him out, and he ain't been the same since. So I was thinking, and many people were thinking, after that fight, David Avanesyan should have been getting big opportunities. And you know, now it's fair to say with 5 defenses of the European title against the likes of, you know, Kermit Laraga, Liam Taylor, Osakari Mets, Josh Kelly, guys like that, you know, he's definitely earned a step up. Now, this is a guy in Avanesyan who in the past was in position to fight Virgil Ortiz in an eliminator. I believe it was a WBC eliminator. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was supposed to fight him in a WBC eliminator. Virgil Ortiz opted to not fight him and fight the very slick and very awkward and hard to hit Michael McKinson. Now, you can classify, a lot of people would classify that as ducking, but I'm not really using it to say he's ducking. I'm using it more to say, you know what, David Avanesyan was in that position. Virgil and his team elected not to fight him for whatever the case may be. Eddie Hearn has been asked about Avanesyan fighting Conor Benn, which I really think, listen, man, all respect to Conor Benn. I like Conor Benn. I love what he brings to the sport. But, you know, if you tell me, BT, what fight would you rather have next? Conor Benn versus Chris Van Heerden, or Conor Benn versus David Avanesyan? I would tell you be Conor Benn versus David Avanesyan, because at this stage, look, Conor Benn beats some good veteran fighters, guys that know the way around the ring, like Chris Algieri, like Adrian Granados. Yes, smaller guys. Yes, guys that have campaigned at 47, but they're more natural 140-pounders that moved up to 47. And honestly, let's be honest, they're past their best sell-by date, although they are still competent fighters and veterans of the sport. I mean, he gets credit for beating them. Okay, and in Algieri's case, he gets credit for beating him emphatically, because he absolutely iced Algieri, and it was very sad to watch as someone who likes Algieri, and you know, come to know him over the years. Avanesyan should be next, because look, when you look at the European domestic scene around that area, the best fighter that he could fight right now is David Avanesyan, because David Avanesyan's a guy that's shown that consistency at that high European level. He's strong. He's brolic. He's the kind of guy that you're gonna have to fight if you want to get ready for that next level. Listen, never mind fighting the Spencers and the Terrence Crawfords and the Ennises and the Virgil Ortizes. My thing is this: if you're Eddie Hearn, right? And this goes out to Eddie Hearn. If you're Eddie Hearn and you think that Conor Benn is as good as you think he is, and he's developing as well as you think he is, then you're going to have to put him there with Avanesyan, because if he can't beat the Avanesyans of the world, then he has no business talking about Boots Ennis, talking about even a Rashidi Ellis, talking about any of these guys. Eddie Hearn has downplayed this fight so many times. He criticized the opponent of Osakari Mets for Avanesyan. He said that they don't want this fight. They'd rather have guys like Maurice Hooker, another guy who was a 40-pounder who's coming to 47. And I'm just to a point where it's like, look, I know Ben's got his fight against the very tricky and smart Chris Van Heerden, crafty veteran Chris Van Heerden, a guy he should beat. Light puncher, southpaw, guy who knows his way around the ring, quality operator. I don't disrespect fighters here on True School Sports. I'm not trying to disrespect Chris Van Heerden and what he can do in the ring, but you gotta be real about what he can do and how this fight will help Conor Benn's development. I think Conor Benn will be much better served fighting a guy like David Avanesian, who's strong, who's got some gas in the tank, who's gonna take him some rounds. To me, if Conor Benn fought him, and let's say he beat him the way he beat Chris Algieri, or the way he's beating some of these other guys, then it's like, okay, Conor Benn has arrived. Conor Benn is really someone to reckon with in British boxing and in boxing worldwide. But right now, I respect Conor Benn for how far he's come, because he has come a long way from the Cedric Pinoid fights and the UC Cavola fights, and I give him credit for that. I really do. But if we're talking about challenging at that top level, okay, you can't be avoiding fights like this, and it just looks like Eddie Hearn, Conor Benn, Matchroom Boxing, all parties involved, they don't want this fight. And I just don't get it, because this is a guy, Avanesyan, who, as far as I'm concerned, he's the guy at welterweight. He's the guy at the European level. He's won the European title. He's defended it 5 times against good fighters, one of which in Josh Kelly, who was supposed to be the next big thing in boxing, and he popped that bubble. So I really feel like Eddie Hearn has trauma and PTSD from Josh Kelly getting ruined by David Avanesyan. He doesn't want that with Conor Benn, because the stakes are a lot higher. He has that Benn name. The trajectory of his career being that he's Nigel Benn's son is a lot higher than that of a Josh Kelly. So he doesn't want to ruin that again. And Avanesyan is what they would call a higher risk, low reward fight. A guy that is risky to put your guy in the ring with. And the reward for beating Avanesyan really isn't a lot, because let's be real. Avanesyan isn't a big name. So if you beat him, most people outside of outside Europe and the UK, most people aren't going to care about that fight. And the reward for beating Avanesyan is just, becoming European champion. But for me, like the way I'm looking at it, I think becoming European champion and beating Avanesyan would be, so far in the career of Conor Benn, his crowning achievement. So what's the holdup? This guy, Avanesyan, you know what you're getting with him. You're not getting a guy who gets on his toes and boxes. He's not Michael McKinson or anything like that. He's not awkward. He's a strong, brawling guy who's coming to knock your head off. And I feel like that's a good fight. It'll be an entertaining fight, and it's one that they should really make. That's what I think. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. I just wanted to talk about Avanesyan and vent about him, because I feel like, you know what, a lot of people aren't talking about him. A lot of people aren't giving him his due, because right now, the way I see it, he's one of the more underrated welterweights. I know you can say, like, oh, well, who has he beat? But, I mean, he beat Josh Kelly. He's established himself firmly and thoroughly in that European level, and he deserves a fight at that world level. So whether it's against, Conor Benn or someone else, I want to see Avanesyan get his shot. So leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God.